Hi guys, Archibald Chesterfield III, AC3. And I gotta tell you guys, I wanted to make this video today and tell you a little secret. And I don't know how some of you guys are going to handle this, but let me explain. I'm getting sick of Rolex. And I gotta tell you, I mean, I love Rolex. You know, Rolex is one of these brands which is hugely popular, probably the most famous luxury watch brand out there. Hugely popular, a lot of demand for it. Is it the greatest watch? No. Is it the best watch? No. Is it the, you know, it is. They are very, very good. It's kind of the, Rolex is the Mercedes-Benz of luxury watches. It's not a Bentley. It's not a Bugatti. It's not a Ferrari. It's a Mercedes. A little bit boring, very overpriced for what you get, but brilliant residuals. Unless you've got an S-Class, which is another story. But you know what I mean. And I gotta tell you there, Rolex is starting to be a little bit boring. Like, they don't really have guilloche dials. They don't really have fancy movements with polishing and, you know, all that horology sort of stuff. It's very, very utilitarian. And I gotta tell you, you know, in recent times, I was a huge Rolex fanboy. I mean, going back 20 years ago, my collection was mainly Rolex. I had a President 18238 diamond dial. I had a Explorer 2 16570, Submariner steel date 16610, and I had a Datejust 16013 two-tone Datejust. Now these were all current models at the time, except for the Datejust was it was a 16013, which was replaced by the 16233. But the thing I'm trying to tell you is, when I had these Rolexes, they were great. I loved them. But then you get so bored of Rolex. And, you know, I got to tell you, it sort of happened slowly. The story is that when I was in the early noughties, after I'd gone broke and lost all my money and, you know, I was just doing a job, I then saw the Breguet Type 20. Ehrenvale on a bracelet. And I thought, oh my God, that is such a beautiful chronograph. And that's what sparked my interest in chronographs. So that was a huge change for me. Then, you know, sure enough, time went on. The Speedy appealed to me. The Speed Master. Man on the moon. And, you know, in recent years, I got to tell you, Rolexes haven't been that great value. They've been expensive. And, you know, I've kind of been interested in other things. I had a stage when I sold a few things off. I had a mini Rolex collection. I had a No Date Sub 14060, Explorer 2 16570, Steel Datejust with white gold bezel 16234. Yeah, that's what I had. 3 steel stunner Rolexes. And I mean, they were good pieces, but some of the other brands lured me in. I mean, IWC, I know, you get a lot of slack for mentioning the IWC. People didn't really like it, but I gotta tell you, now that I crossed the IWC bridge, would I go back to a Rolex? And I gotta tell you, I honestly think my IWC Ingenieur is the perfect Gerald Genta design piece. I had the AP. I couldn't stand the AP. It was just a shit to live with. But the IWC Ingenieur is just, it's done well, beautifully done. It's a big watch, 42.5mm, really thick baby too. I call quite like it. I really, really like it. And I got to tell you, that's been a great piece. I've enjoyed owning that. And I got to tell you, you know, another piece I really love is my Jaeger-LeCoultre Reverso Grand Date. I love that piece. Love that piece to death. The Reverso Grand Date, it's so cool. I love it, man. I love that piece. And this is the thing. I look at my collection, and okay, the Patek, of course, is amazing, but you know, it's so expensive. Expensive. The only Rolex I've got now is Explorer 2, the Polar. And yes, cool, yeah, it's a Rolex. I love one Rolex, but you know, I mean, when you really get down to nitty gritty, Rolex, I mean, yes, they're good, they're waterproof, they do things so well, they dot the I's and cross the T's so well, but I gotta tell you, they are Rolex itself there is very, very utilitarian. I like a bit of, I don't know, I've had these watches for a while. I like to have some fancy-wancy stuff. I mean, my IWC's got the most beautiful bracelet. It's got the beautiful dial with the eye engraved. I mean, that's expensive to do. It's hard. Why would you do it? And this is the whole thing. I love the way these other makers do things. And I really wonder, with Rolex, are they too boring? And I know you've got really good residuals. Yes, I understand. But it's kind of boring. It is kind of boring. So, yes, that's my opinion. That is my opinion. So there you go. I'm Archibald Chesterfield III, AC3. Tell me what you guys think of that. I still love you, Rolex!